Okay. So, when it comes to Carl 5, I had to give Carl 5 back his iPhone X. I had to give it back to him because number one, I explored what the problems were. If you don't know, I had Carl 5's phone for a few days. He told me that he had this issue. His issue was it was constantly restarting over and over again. Um, my first thought was I know for a fact that he had delayed his updates, and he may have delayed his updates to the point where the machine just literally no longer liked him. So he had to do an update, and when he did the update, it got stuck. It just started looping. My first thought is, okay, this is a software problem. I've run into it before with older devices. In some cases, you can simply get an iPhone cable, plug it into your device, and when you plug it into the device, an authentic iPhone cable, and it'll recognize it. And once it does, it'll say, "Hey, I know you. You're good." It'll correct the issue, and then you're done. But I know that Carl 5 has an iPhone X. And because he has an X, that means he has a terminated chip inside of it. The terminated chip, if you don't know what a T1 chip is, but they refer to it as a terminated chip because it authenticates that every piece on the inside of the device belongs to Apple. It belongs to that device, specifically in the newer T chips. And the old one, it just makes sure that it is Apple authenticated. And there's no getting around that T chip. That's the reason why they call it Terminator, code name or street name Terminator chip. And the way it works is it's simple. If it doesn't authenticate it, it gives you an error saying that hey, you may have some bootleg software or you may have some bootleg hardware in your phone, and that really stops third-party people from going in there and fixing these machines. So there's multiple reasons why I stopped working on Carl 5's phone. First thing I did was I started, and I'm not an IT person. I'm not an IT person, but I do know that what you can do is go in there and grab software and sometimes just reformat it because sometimes if it was a software issue, I should be able to go back and find a very early version of what do you call it, the OS, and just mask it or attempt it, and it should choke. And when it does choke, eventually it'll find the right one, and everything will be fine, and we'll be good. That has worked a couple of times. I've actually been inside of this bad boy, another bad boy over there. These are old iPods with the VCR buttons, iPhone 4s, iPhone 5s, but I fixed hardware. Mainly the screen, just replacing the screen. AT&T is the hardest one to work with because it had a cable in a really weird area. That's the extent of my ability to repair devices. Oh, I also repaired my Motorola X. That was an adventure. It was Motorola made it easy, but man, it was an adventure to get in there and open up all those pieces. But it's very modular when I was inside of it. It was a better experience than Apple. Um, but that's the path that I went on. I went on the path of I'm gonna go through software, and unfortunately, because I'm always doing the software search and everything, I went down this software path. And then I just started checking out other people's stuff and started seeing people were saying the 9 era and the 4003 era and the other eras, these are all guys that can be fixed with this software. And I started to go like, something's odd with that because those are different codes. Those are different, something is a different code. It wouldn't be a fix all software package for all these codes. And then I started seeing in 2019, that's when people started really complaining about this Era 9. And that's when I noticed hardware people talking about it. There was this annoying guy who would just yap, my phone, my coworker, blah, blah, blah. Well, he didn't say coworker. He said a friend of his, blah, blah, blah. I had a son and his phone was blah, blah, blah. I was like, I really hate this guy. So I started hunting, and I ran into more hardware guys. and gals. This one lady started literally talking about, I'm going to show you how to read the error log. And I was like, oh, there would be a log of the error. And then she showed how to actually read the log, but she didn't just show how to read the log and where to go in there to read the log. She also had it on the one of those electron microscopes where you can see on the logic board. You can see on the logic board that there was a short that had happened from a previous repair. And that's one of the reasons why I started asking Carl5, hey, was this phone new? Did you see them open it up in the box? From the seal, how much did you pay for it? I'm trying to see if they gave him a refurbished machine or if they gave him a brand new machine. And after a series of questions with Carl5 and after seeing that video of the lady, I realized that Carl5 simply had a bad phone. It took years for that badness to come in there and manifest, but he just got a bad logic board. It's like probably one chip on the logic board that's either misfiring or whatever. And I asked him, did you drop it and all the other stuff? And he's like, nah, it's, and you see the body. The body's in like immaculate condition. So that whole avenue is gone. The other path that I can do, I can go to my yellow box over there and I can open up his phone. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that for multiple reasons. Reason number one, it does have a T-chip in there. Any piece that I get for his device, I am going to have to put either an expensive Apple part in there or a cheap third party in there. If I put a cheap third party in there, he's going to end up having an issue, a pop-up all the time. He's going to end up paying his phone. Another bad thing about me opening up his phone is these devices are tightly sealed. And because they're tightly sealed, the second I open it up, I'm going to break his waterproofing sealment going around the device. So his device will forever be sensitive to humidity, sweat, water, and so forth. I don't want to do that to him. That's a bad thing. And believe it or not, the X model, iPhone X, that is above the limit of where I'm comfortable with opening up devices. With my wife broke her screen. I refused to repair her screen, even though I knew her phone didn't have the T-chip. I refused to fix her phone only because after I fixed her phone, if anything happened, it started acting glitchy or whatever, she's going to be mad at me. She's not going to be mad at Apple. So I told her, go to Apple, have Apple fix it. And they fixed it for a dollar amount, a big dollar amount. But it was still cheaper than buying another phone. And that's the reason why I gave Carl5 his phone. And I literally told him, give it to Apple, let them fix it. It's more than likely the logic board. It's going to cost you $200 to $300 to get that fixed. It ain't going to be cheap. But for that amount of money, you're going to get X amount of years out of it. I'm thinking 3 years. He may get more. The only reason why I say his phone is worth holding on to is because he does have an X model. So he can record in 4K. He has high-end photos. He has a lot of features, dual camera, I believe. He has a lot of good features that are still relevant and worth holding on to. That's the end of this video. If there's another video, it's going to be from Carl5 when he tells us what his solution was. Good luck. Hope this works out, man.